My name is Dan Morrill, and I'm the Chief Risk Officer here at Wolf & Company. I've been with the firm just over 27 years now. I started in our audit practice and moved into national office, professional practice type role, which transitioned into the Chief Risk Officer role about 5-6 years ago.
My name is Kate. I'm in the assurance group. I'm a manager, and I've been leading our digital transformation. And I've been with Wolf for about 7 years.
So Wolf has been in business since 1911, so we're a strong 100-plus year firm. We provide typical audit, tax, advisory services. So we have a financial assurance line, we have a technology assurance line, and a tax and advisory practice. So the first thing that we did was we brought key stakeholders together, and not just from our audit practice, but we included tax and our advisory services as well, because we recognized that this solution wasn't just an audit solution. It was really something that we might be able to use firm-wide. So we brought in all the key stakeholders from all of our different lines of service to come together and begin brainstorming about what it is that we wanted. One of the things that became readily apparent to us early on was that, we had always looked at the technology and the audit methodology as being one and calling it an audit methodology. But the reality is you have a tech platform that handles, your documents and things like that. But you also had an audit methodology. So that was really important to us, that we were able to separate the two, audit methodology versus a tech platform, and look at it that way. So once we got the key stakeholders together, we began the process of figuring out what it is that we wanted, what we were looking for, what were some of the key things that, features, functionalities of the tech platform that we were looking for, and also making sure that the audit methodology, passed the test of standards and things like that. So once we got that together and the team together, we went to the marketplace, found a bunch of different providers that were out there, and determined which ones we wanted to take a look at. We did some demos and whittled it down, and then did some pilots on some of the ones that we liked the best.
Inflo really stood out to us as the audit of the future. The other softwares really just felt like they took what they were doing before and just put it in the cloud. For us, Inflo felt like a new way of doing an audit, and it felt more like a workflow than an electronic binder.
We chose Inflo because we really liked the tech-forward thought process behind it. It's more of a workflow. It integrates technologies. And being a chief risk officer, we do a lot of vendor due diligence. And when you have multiple solutions in audit, one solution that brings in your trial balance and does, general ledger reviews and things like that, when you have sharing files with a client, right? You might have 3 or 4 different technologies that do that. Now I've got to go out and do vendor due diligence annually. I've got to renew 4 contracts. I need to do all of that multiple times. What I really liked about Inflo from a chief risk officer standpoint was that all of it's packaged into one solution, which I thought was great.
We really liked the real-time audit tracking capabilities. Again, it felt more like a workflow than electronic binder. So we could really track the status of an audit just by opening the file versus trying to figure out where things were.
To be honest, one of the things that I really liked about Inflo was using all of their different modules. Our teams could go into an Excel spreadsheet or utilize the tool to take an Excel spreadsheet, analyze it, pick a sample, hit a button, and it sends that sample right to the client. The client's able to upload it back into the tool, and I think it alerts the staff or senior that it's there waiting for them. So it was sort of one-stop shopping. You hit a button versus having to go in, make your selection manually, pull it out of the Excel, put it into an email to send to the client. Just saves time and makes things a lot more efficient. Our interaction with the Inflo folks really did impact our decision a lot. It really felt from day one like it was a partnership. And as we've continued to implement it and roll it out, it's continued that way. We have a lot of conversations with Inflo on different features that we're looking for. They've asked us to collaborate on features that they're rolling out. So it really feels like a partnership, and we really felt that throughout the process of making a selection. And since we've gone with Inflo, that hasn't stopped. It's certainly continued. So it's a great partnership.
Inflo took a real collaborative approach, which we really enjoyed. Working with their people felt like we could go to them with suggestions and questions, and we were met with curiosity versus being told that something wasn't possible.
We rolled out Inflo in full effective June 1st. So any new engagements that the firm does, or any existing engagements after June 1st, need to be done in Inflo. So we've done a full rollout. that's sort of where we are in the journey now. Gearing up for year end and making sure that all of our processes are in place and to make sure that it's really smooth. I think we'll gain some efficiencies, and because it truly is a workflow. I think from a review perspective, the engagement leader and engagement quality reviewer reviews will probably be a little bit more efficient just based on how the workflow is structured. So I think we'll see some efficiencies, and I think we'll also see some excitement from the younger generation coming into the firm because it is so tech forward, and they're working on building AI into the modules and things like that. So I think we're going to see a lot more excitement out of our people than using just a typical old document storage platform.
Beyond the workflow efficiencies, we really expect to increase our quality through standardization. So one thing we really liked about Inflo is the ability to customize content and templates and be able to distribute them seamlessly. Before, we would have to send emails or store documents on the intranet for teams to use. Now it just flows seamlessly and we'll be able to do things in a more standard way.
I think from metrics or KPI, maybe nothing really formal, but I think looking at, utilization and realization on engagements are two metrics that are big in the public accounting realm that we'll certainly look at, and especially from a realization standpoint to see, are we being more efficient? But I think staff satisfaction, I think, will be a big driver of whether or not we are successful in this. So I'm hopeful that our staff will really enjoy the platform and utilize it to its fullest.
My advice would be to explore all available options and get hands-on experience. So viewing a vendor demonstration is very different than getting in there and actually utilizing it yourself.
My advice to other firms would be, you make sure that you're thinking about it holistically and it's not just an audit problem, that you should be including your other service lines in the decision-making process, or at least let them see the tool, because there may be things that functionality that they like that they may be able to use. I would say take your time, go through it, but at some point you have to make a decision, right? You can't continue to, debate and debate. Just make up your mind, make a decision. The quicker you make a decision, the quicker you can get started implementing, and the smoother the transition will be. I think it's just been a great experience. As I mentioned earlier, it feels like a partnership, and I look forward to working with Inflo in the future.